So, continue. Now, there was a general that had swung through Vietnam, General James Woolnough. And he observed, and this is going to the book, General James Woolnough observed and wrote to the Chief of Staff Westmoreland, we all know who that is, less than a month before. So before he had showed up, before Hackworth had showed up, this guy, General James Woolnough, had observed and wrote to Chief of Staff Westmoreland less than a month before during his whirlwind 9-day trip to the war zone. Woolnough told the chief that the almost universal opinion among those he'd spoken with was that the young officers and enlisted men being sent to Vietnam were indeed properly trained, prepared for combat, both by training and mental conditioning. So this guy wrote this flowery report after he goes to Vietnam for 9 days. And you can imagine somebody like Hackworth that spent 5 years in Vietnam, somebody shows up, spends 9 days there. He's looking at this guy like he's an idiot. Yeah. And this is a classic statement about leadership. He said, this is Hackworth going directly to the book again. What a mistake it was to listen to the generals of corporate HQ who were briefed only in zero defect terms and so far from the cutting edge expected nothing less. It was among the biggest mistakes of the war. The politicians only listened to these generals and these generals to themselves. That's crazy. And this is again when I was talking about questioning earlier, and I question Hackworth and I question everybody and everything. I'm constantly asking those questions because you don't know. You don't know if you're just listening to the generals that are only listening to themselves. Back to the book. Few people ask the frontline soldiers, the only ones who really knew. So you got to talk to your frontline troops.
Yeah.
That's just a mandatory piece of leadership. I had a great word on this. It's called incestual knowledge, right? When this little group just talks among themselves and they believe everything that they hear and they agree with everything they hear. And you know where